On tonight's CTV News, Environment Canterbury's clampdown on dirty wood burners extends to Timaru. The future for the Christchurch Town Hall could be back on the council agenda. And would you pay $5 to leave town? This is CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. And news just in, the fate of the Ellerslie International Flower Show is in the hands of the council after a reported loss of $516,000. After making a loss for the third in a row, staff will be presenting a range of options to assess the long-term future of the Ellerslie Flower Show. This year, organisers added more exhibits as a way of drawing more people through the gates, but it didn't increase the actual numbers. By the end of the month, the council will decide if the show will go ahead next year. Environment Canterbury are clamping down on log burners in Christchurch this winter. Timaru has the same problem. Residents there are being asked to clean up their act after it's been found that they have some of the worst air quality in New Zealand.
These smoky old chimneys are causing trouble in Timaru. The area has been labelled one of the most polluted in the country, topping the World Health Organisation's worst air pollution list, a knockback for Timaru's mayor.
That people will go, well, that's a dirty industrialist town, which really doesn't paint quite the correct picture, and that's not good for our image when we're really desperately wanting people to relocate here so we can continue expanding the communities.
In the past year, Environment Canterbury has received over 100 complaints about smoky chimneys, with over 2,500 fires in Timaru older than 15 years old. But they're hoping that will change. ECAN is targeting homeowners with those old log burners. And those holding a community service card can claim $1,000 to replace their smoky old log burner with a newer model, or $2,000 to replace it with a heat pump, a way of cleaning Timaru's air.
There's no one tool in the toolbox. I mean, we do have an ageing demographic and a lower medium average income in Timaru, so if we simply went and chucked everyone's log fires out, we may create other health issues with some of the elderly people.
Lucy McKnight and her partner are first-time homeowners in the area, which has also come with this smoky old log burner. And the expense of the wood their fire chews through doesn't make it worthwhile.
We started lighting the fire middle of March when it started getting quite cold. So we've already been through one whole load, so we've had another one dropped off on Saturday. That's drying out at the moment. ECAN believes offering the subsidies would cover 120 conversions in the coming year. For Ms McKnight, it makes the shift from their old log burner to the newer model easier, and the money is an incentive to do so. But I definitely would, because it's quite old.
But will it help? Timaru has been recording up to 50 high pollution nights a year, the average around the rest of Canterbury peaking just above 30. But ECAN wants to see that change. By 2016, all areas in Canterbury should have those high pollution nights down to just 3 a year.
I think, we might need to dust off ECAN's wand if that's achievable. I think it's really a measured approach and to have a plan in place that shows total commitment from all parties and that we are reducing it. But I think 2016 is going to roll around pretty quick, and like I say, you can't just go around chopping everyone's chimneys down. ECAN are funding a $400,000 campaign, encouraging homeowners to convert to more efficient heating. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
A Christchurch City Councillor wants to take the decision over the future of the Town Hall back to the council table.
Is it time to revisit the Christchurch Town Hall? The former council voted to fully restore the earthquake-damaged landmark last year, but a new council's running the city now. Following the release of the Court of Memphill report and news of the council's $534 million insurance shortfall, one city councillor wants to cut the repair cost down.
I have raised it with councillors because I'd like to revisit that. I think potentially we could go back to the original proposal, which was just to keep the auditorium, and we could probably repair that for maybe $70 to $80 million.
As it stands, the repairs will cost $127 million. $69 million of that will come from insurance. Another $30 million has already been put aside for the arts precinct.
Not like the town hall's filling a void that never was there in the first place, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, if the town...
$130 million, a lot of money.
That is a lot, and that's just an estimate. Remember, a lot of these things are just budget estimates and we don't have finalised figures. So this is the problem we have. Everything is a moving target. There are lots of variables in here.
Maximum retention and restoration means the building will look unchanged from the outside. Inside, though, the Limes room will be restored and the Boaters and Cambridge rooms will be rebuilt. The Town Hall will be completely upgraded. New audio-visual, sound systems and lighting will be installed. As it stands, the current decision around the Performing Arts Precinct should include the Town Hall, a new court theatre, a home for the Christchurch Symphony Orchestra and the Music Centre of Christchurch. At last year's council meeting, Councillor Jamie Goff tried to defer a final decision until March this year. At the time, he said it would allow the council's cost-sharing agreement with the government to be reviewed. He said by pausing on making a decision, it would allow the council to consider detailed options and costings for the Performing Arts Precinct. This idea was rejected by the rest of the table, who said the city wanted a decision now. Fast forward to May 2014, and Councillor Manji wants the council to reassess that decision.
The councillors you talk to, are they starting to get a bit more financial savvy now? The ones perhaps further on the left that want to save everything possible, are they now starting to realise that Flockton Basin's flooding and perhaps the dream of having the Town Hall has to go and that money should be redirected so people can actually live?
I think slowly the penny is starting to drop. I have been saying for many, many months now that there is a serious financial tsunami coming towards us, but I think the numbers are so big that for some people it actually doesn't feel real.
Interested parties will be watching to see if the Christchurch Town Hall comes back on the council's agenda. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Last month on CTV's current affairs show Street Stories, Christchurch's sex workers said they would feel safer if they had dedicated facilities. It looks as though their wish may soon be granted.
Manchester Street on a Friday night. It's a busy place as women ply their wares down the street. It's also a dangerous place to work. In the last 3 months there have been 3 reported assaults. A sex worker also told CTV's new current affairs show Street Stories that she was raped on the street just before Christmas. 2 Christchurch City councillors are now pushing to create a temporary workplace for the sex workers between Belly Avenue and Kilmore Street. This would help keep the prostitutes away from Manchester Street residents on the northern side of the notorious street. Post-quake, they've been putting up with girls working outside of their homes. The new area aims to make working on Manchester Street safer for workers and their clients. The temporary site would have facilities like toilets for the girls, proper lighting and security cameras would keep malicious people at bay. Street Stories recently ran an episode featuring street prostitution. Sex worker Crystal told me the girls urgently need a designated space.
It'd be good to bring the girls back into town where it's a bit brighter and it's a bit safer, and I think it would be good if we had some facilities like toilets, maybe some push-button showers for those that are couch surfing or don't really have anywhere to live, education to educate the girls that don't know about health and safety.
She would like a doctor to visit once a month, providing free sexual health checkups for the girls.
I think it would be good if we had health services. It's sometimes hard to get hold of the girls, for them to pay for checkups and for them to have the time during the day because they're sleeping or doing other stuff.
The temporary site would be around for at least 6 months, but if it's successful, there's a chance it could be extended. Prostitutes Collective Regional Coordinator Anna Reid says the prostitutes won't leave their spots unless the temporary site is something special. She says complaints from residents north of Beeley Avenue have since died off.
An accessibility activist is calling for Christchurch business owners to lead the way in making Christchurch the world's most accessible city.
Calling for change in Christchurch businesses, the Institute Chief Executive Minnie Baraganath says turning Christchurch into the world's most accessible city is turning dreams into reality. By the time the average New Zealander reaches 65, 50% of people will have some form of impairment. Numbers continue to rise. Building Christchurch as an accessible city not only plans for the future, but saves spending in the long run. Activist Minnie Baraganath is partially blind herself. Growing up in New Zealand, she saw firsthand the differences between opportunities for the disabled and those who are not.
Well, actually, there's no real reason for it. If we put our energy into removing some of those unnecessary barriers, whether they be the built environment, access to information, or most of all, attitude, actually, we could actually transform people's lives and benefit as a country.
20% of New Zealanders live with a disability of some kind. Minnie Baraganath says businesses not aware of accessibility are missing out on a wider customer base.
So it's a massive opportunity for all businesses, whether you're the CEO of a bank, CEO of the health board, a school, a cafe, whatever it is. It actually cuts across because impairment, disability, access cuts across every demographic group.
Becoming an accessible city may be transforming, not only for citizens, but one of New Zealand's leading industries, tourism. Christchurch is one of the world's top travel destinations. Making the city accessible allows disabled travellers the opportunity to experience the Garden City. Chief Executive of Foreign Affairs and Trade, John Allen, says with the ageing population and great numbers of disabled people worldwide, there are billions of dollars of potential.
Disabled community are travellers. 50% of disabled people say that they would be keen to travel if they were confident that there were the facilities in the destination to enable them to do that safely and easily.
Christchurch's International Airport is one of the first leading the initiative, showing it's possible to be accessible and encouraging others to do the same.
I mean, if you think about it, the airport has over 5 million visitors a year coming through. If we say 20% of people have an impairment, that's potentially over 1 million visitors a year coming into Christchurch, Canterbury, who may have an access need that we may not be thinking about.
John Allen says this is a vital part in the rebuild, creating a space where everyone is physically able to be themselves without limitation, all without a cent of taxpayer money.
The excitement with Christchurch is simply the opportunity to work with great people, but also to rebuild a city and to rebuild it on accessible principles so that the buildings are accessible, the roads work appropriately, the transport infrastructure works appropriately, the signage is appropriate, all those sorts of things to support disabled people in this community.
Working together to build a better future for every Cantabrian.
Coming up, city community projects hinge on funding being approved.
Be watching CTV News first at 5 and you could win up to $5,000 every week with CTV's cash giveaways. For more information, visit our website and be watching CTV News first at 5. Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the air gun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
When it comes to the delicate subject of funeral services, Ashburton now has another option. Galbraith Funeral Services now offer you and your family their high standard of service and expertise in their offices in Havelock Street. Whether it's a chat about pre-booking a service to include all your ideas and thoughts for your own funeral, or that of another member of the family, or simply asking what's involved, call or pop in. Galbraith Funeral Service is an old firm with old-fashioned values, ensuring all the options are yours.
Come dine with Country Catering at the Kaipoi Golf Club Cafe. Enjoy our range of delicious $10 lunches, daily specials and other homemade goodies. Open to the public 7 days inside the Kaipoi Golf Club, north end of William Street, Kaipoi. We look forward to seeing you soon.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
Wild Spirits covers the biggest, most extreme sports events across the planet. From surfing to base jumping, snowboarding to motocross, this series will sure to have you on the edge of your seat. Wild Spirits, Wednesday nights at 7, CTV.
Plans for a combined library and community facility in Sumner hinge on finding outside funding.
An external funding commitment will be needed before the Council can confirm the final budget for the combined library and community facility in Sumner. The library and community centre were both damaged beyond repair in the February 2011 earthquake and subsequently demolished. The buildings were insured for only $1.4 million, not nearly enough to cover the cost of rebuilding. Community consultation over the last 12 months has resulted in 3 different concept designs being considered. The design most likely to be chosen gives the best use of available land, enhances the streetscape and meets the majority of community needs. The cost of this option is almost $10.2 million, making a funding shortfall of $9.17 million. A funding options report completed in April by council staff outlines the external funding avenues available and the likelihood of getting money through them. If the council decides to proceed with the project, all the funding options will be considered over the next 2 months. Stage 2 of the project will include design development alongside further community consultation. A joint community committee and Hagley Ferrymead Community Board meeting on Tuesday recommended that the project progress to Stage 2 and the funding shortfall be allocated from betterment and improvement allowance borrowing. The facility will be built on the existing site of demolished facilities at 14 to 18 Wakefield Avenue.
The scope of repairs for the Waltham pool is more than first estimated, but extra funds should allow it to go ahead as planned.
The costs of repairing Waltham Pool have ballooned by almost $900,000. A report for the Christchurch City Council Community Committee says that detailed design work has shown up extra compliance issues. The pool will need upgrades to the electrical systems and water services systems to meet minimum standards. Due to age, both systems will need a full replacement. The pool also has building code and accessibility non-compliances. The council is still negotiating an insurance settlement on the pool, with just over $1.2 million expected. Last October, the council allocated $2.5 million for the repairs and improvements. The revised budget means the council is being asked to allocate the extra money from the Building and Infrastructure Allowance Fund. This money will allow the project to continue on schedule. A community committee meeting on Tuesday approved the allocation of most of the extra money. External funding and contribution from the Spraden Heathcote Community Board is sought to cover some of the improvement costs. Waltham Pool was a popular facility with over 17,000 people using it each summer. Due to its importance to residents, the pool was one of the top 30 facilities prioritised for funding in September 2012. It is hoped the pool will reopen for the upcoming summer season.
The owners of an historic home are proposing to move it onto Hagley Park.
As Christchurch rebuilds, the idea of building on Hagley Park is often talked about. The former head of Canterbury Sport proposed building the Metro Sport facility on the sacred ground, but that idea was thrown out after Joe Kane threatened to run naked around the park if construction went ahead. Now the owners of an 1860s Victorian mansion want to move a historic St Albans home to Hagley Park. Chippenham Lodge is by far one of the oldest homes in Browns Road. The owners want to move it somewhere more visible, where the public can visit, but moving and rebuilding the home could cost up to $3 million. This visually striking home was designed by Christchurch architect Benjamin Mountford, who is well known for his work on the Christchurch Cathedral, Provincial Chambers, Canterbury Museum and the Art Centre. Recently it's been home to a hippie commune, but in the decades past 3 members of Parliament called it home. Women's Refuge was founded behind these doors, and the first meeting of Greenpeace was also held here. A spokesman for Heartwood Community Inc., who owns the former home, told the press the building was earthquake damaged and had to be rebuilt. He says on its current site, few people even know it exists. The aim is to form a charitable trust to shift the lodge to a more public site, like Hagley Park. The proposal suggests a spot on the edge of the Botanic Gardens, next to Christchurch Hospital. He says this could be the best site for the building. But Martin Meehan from Hands Off Hagley has told the press any attempt to move a building onto Hagley Park will be resisted. He says Hagley Park's a special place and there's a need to preserve what's left.
Still to come, a rugby great was in Timaru yesterday.
Join Graham Sinclair and the team at Gone Fishing as they bring you great stories, fishing tips and beautiful scenery. Gone Fishing, Friday night at 8:30, right here on CTV.
Blue Star Taxis has been servicing the Canterbury region for over 80 years. Canterbury owned and operated, with a passion for providing safe, reliable public transport in Christchurch to Cantabrians and visitors to our city. Home safe every time with Blue Star Taxis.
Yuck, look at all this moss and lichen. I'm not getting up there, not in these heels. Time to call Mossbuster.
Mossbuster is a no-bleach, non-abrasive, biodegradable solution that has over 35 years of proven results. You can buy Mossbuster online for less than half the cost of other well-known products and can be yours for less than $1 a litre. You just spray it on and let Mother Nature do the rest, or Mossbuster can do it for you. Check out our website or call the Mossbuster crew for a free quote. Mossbuster, 0800 88 1000.
Ready to go, mate? Flight leaves at 4:30.
Relax, mate. We'll park at Hagley Park, Canterbury.
Air Park Canterbury, privately owned and operated with a free 24/7 shuttle service. Call 0800 Air Park or book online at airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
Located at the foot of the Port Hills, Berrymead Golf offers a spectacular location for any occasion. Make your dream wedding a reality with private use of our green function room, outdoor garden courtyard, large marquee and stunning gazebo. Or for your next conference, enjoy the relaxed atmosphere of Berrymead Golf, offering a private, spacious conference room with special deals to make any break a true break. All with customised catering from the Wow Cafe. Berrymead Golf, 50 Berrymead Park Drive, right next to the Berrymead Heritage Park.
Meet the latest arrivals at Berlin's 2 animal parks and find out what it takes to be a zoo baby in a modern zoo. Zoo Juniors. Wednesday nights at 8 p.m, right here on CTV.
One of New Zealand's greatest rugby players was in Timaru. However, he wasn't there to talk about the All Blacks or how the Blues were faring this season. He was in town for a different reason. Emma Cropper has the story.
So Ambrosio kicks off. The Italians are beaten right out of the action now. New Zealand have scored 48 points and they might be looking for 50. John Kerwin. And what a way to bring up 50 points in an opening test for the first time.
35 tries in 65 test matches for the All Blacks. He's regarded as one of New Zealand's best rugby players.
Looking for Kerwin and the crash ball. Kerwin through. And a tackle. He's away. Oh, brilliant try for John Kerwin.
But Sir John Kerwin was in town for a different reason. Fairlie's Community Hall was packed with almost half of the area. 400 people turning out to hear Sir John talk about his battle with depression.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to slack them or what was I going to do? So I did nothing.
Sir John has been an advocate for depression in New Zealand for almost a decade.
Look, I understand that depression is hard. I've been there. But it's not a weakness, it's just an illness.
He made it okay to stand up and say something's wrong. He's written the All Blacks Don't Cry book and in 2012 received a knighthood for his services to mental health and rugby.
I mean, rugby is part of what I am and who I am, so, you know, that's a big part of what I do, but really talking about mental health and just giving people a bit of an insight into me, really.
Which has drawn the crowds to this community meeting.
We were just talking earlier about how much it's changed over the last 10 years. You wouldn't have had this hall full of people, you know, years ago, and it's good. It's all a bit more out in the open and able to be talked about a bit more. It's definitely, you know, pretty helpful.
Do you think it's quite brave of him to be speaking out about his depression and things like that?
I think it's very good of him, yes, because it is pretty rampant in places. So. I think he's got a good ambassador for everyone, so it should be quite interesting.
Sir John was only in South Canterbury for a fleeting visit, but was hoping locals left with a message that it's okay to ask for help. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
If you're driving around the central city, CTV's traffic update will assist you navigating the repairs taking place.
Hello travellers, to help you plan your journey around the central city, here's some tips on how to get around the place this week. A new worksite on Beeley Avenue is slowing down traffic at the Papanui-Beeley Avenue intersection for travellers heading west. This may cause delays during busy hours, so please allow extra time. Salisbury Street is down to one lane in many places, but it still runs well. Hillmore Street is also down to one lane in some places as it has ongoing works. To keep up to date on what's happening with the Central City roads, keep watching CTV News first at 5, and as always, check out the Transport for Christchurch website.
And finally tonight, your regional weather.
Kia ora everyone, let's take a look at today's estimated temperatures. South Canterbury, Timaru had 13 degrees today, Temuka and Geraldine on 13 degrees. Ashburton 12 degrees for your Wednesday, Methven had 13 degrees, Rukaya 12 degrees for you, Darthfield had 13 degrees today, Leeston and Rolleston had 12 degrees, Lincoln also had 12 degrees today, and Christchurch a wet day for you with 12 degrees. Over in Nakarawa, 12 degrees for you today, and north of the Waimakariri, Kaipui, Rangiora and Amberley all receiving 11 degrees today. Let's take a look inland now. Culverden and Hatton Springs, you both were on 11 degree high today, and 11 degrees up in Cheviot as well. Travelling further up along the east coast, Kaikoura, a moderate 11 degrees for your Wednesday. Timaru, mostly fine tomorrow with sunny periods during the morning but increasing cloud during the afternoon. You can expect light southwesterly winds. Tonight's overnight low 5 degrees, tomorrow's high 13. Ashburton, fine and cool in mid-Canterbury too, with some afternoon cloud and light southwesterly breezes. Tonight's low 5 degrees, tomorrow's high 13. Otautahi, dry tomorrow with cool temperatures and light winds. Some cloud about, mostly during the afternoon. Tonight's overnight low 5 degrees, tomorrow's high 13 degrees. Kaikoura, mostly fine tomorrow with sunny periods during the morning but increasing cloud during the afternoon. You can expect light southwesterly winds. Tonight's low 5 degrees, tomorrow's high 13 degrees. A cloudy day ahead for most other areas tomorrow. Let's take a look at the temperatures. Temuka and Geraldine can expect cloud about tomorrow with a high of 13 degrees. Methven, you'll have 13 degrees as well, and 13 is expected in Rukaya. Darthfield, you can expect 13 degrees tomorrow, and Leeston 13 degrees for you. Rolleston and Lincoln 13 degrees for you, and Akaroa expect 13 degrees for your Thursday. And out in North Canterbury, Kaipui and Rangiora 13 degrees is set for your Thursday. Amberley also have 13 expected for you. Culverden, Hatton Springs and Cheviot, cloudy day ahead with 13 degrees expected. Looking ahead for Canterbury, fine and sunny on Friday and Saturday with scattered high cloud and light to moderate northeasterly winds. Fresh gusty northwesterlies on Sunday with high cloud and mild temperatures. And it's fine on Monday and Tuesday with some high cloud and long sunny periods, and expect moderate northerly winds. Fine on Monday and Tuesday with some high cloud and long sunny periods, and you can expect moderate northerly winds. And that's your weather update for Wednesday. Have a great evening.
That's CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.